This machine has a lot of different functions. Let's start off with frequency.
Okay, makers perform is a raw length frequency. When they receive a shaft, they will want to know when they stop the shaft here and put in a fixed, whether it's a head or drill chuck, what is the frequency or overall flex of that shaft. We have a lot of different drill chucks in here for a lot of different purposes. This one in particular simulates a driver wood head. So we simply go through the menu and get into the cycles per minute portion of measuring and switch it to woods. So we're in a wood. We have the stopper all the way up. We're going to hit the clamp, excite the shaft, and measure. Now this shaft came out 236 cycles, which also gave us a number next to it that said A3. In our lingo, A3 is 236. One of the many notable things about this machine is the actual shape of the clamps. Because they're V-shaped, we can clamp a raw shaft and it's on the butt or the tip. Also a finished golf club with a grip on it. One of the other features is that we get a lot of questions from club makers. If I trim this amount from the butt and trim this amount from the tip, what am I going to get? I'm going to show you why this machine is so versatile when it comes to frequency. Let's say that I decide to trim about this much, I don't know what that is, 2.5, 3 inches. And if I take one of the drill chucks, this is 205 for a driver, and I decide that I want to do a tip trim, I can actually slide that chuck back and forth and get a frequency number so that I can predict before cutting it what I'm going to end up with a finished golf club. I'm going to tell you how to do one of the more advanced measurements. People ask about tip flex and butt flex and how those correlate. We actually, with this machine, give you the opportunity to measure the tip while putting a weight. This one happens to be 103 grams. Everybody has a different standard that they will test with. Ours happens to be 103. And we can actually get the tip flex and the butt flex of each shaft.
Okay, now that we've learned all about frequency, let's move on to another useful tool, measuring torque.
Okay, I'm going to get the torque arm out, which is housed in the back here. And we're just using one of the wrenches that everybody is familiar with now in modern golf. I have the menu set up in torque. We're going to take this stopper in here and stop it about here. Depending on the length that you actually, beam length that you want to test. We're going to test this at full length. So I'm going to put the torque arm on. And I have this tower moved over so that these two right here can communicate, so to speak. And you'll see a red light on top blinking back and forth when you have it in the proper position. So once I get that in the proper position, I'm going to tighten it a little bit. And it's very straightforward. It's very much like frequency at this point. I'm just going to excite the shaft and hit measure. So we've just received a torque, full-length torque of 3.08 on this particular shaft. And it's pretty much that easy. Okay, so I had the shaft in this way. I can also turn the shaft around and get the readings in the opposite way. The neat thing about this machine is, for those of you for an advanced measuring kind of club maker that want to know more about the EI curve, we can actually, you can self-define what your tests are, and you can check zonally in small increments or zones. You can check the resistance to bending along the longitudinal axis of the shaft, both this way and this way. And that'll give you a great idea of all the different shafts that are out there, how they are constructed as far as the distribution of flex along the longitudinal axis of the shaft.
Now we're going to move on to weights and measures. We're going to measure overall weight, swing weight, club weight, and balance point.
Okay, the first one I'll do is club weight. I have a finished golf club this time. And we've moved the center tower over to a place that'll say swing weight, center tower, right? So this is set up over here. The left tower all the way over, right tower all the way over here. And when I put that in there, my club weight comes up to 353.7 grams.
Now we're going to show you weights and measures. We're going to measure overall weight, swing weight, club weight, and balance point.
The first one I'll show you is club weight itself. If you go into the menu, as you cycle through the menu, you'll see the torque and the frequency, bending, stiffness. When you get to weights and measures, it'll give you an arrow to go over to select. The first one will be overall weight, which I'm not going to show you quite yet. The next one is swing weight, which we're going to get to in a second. And then the next one is club weight. If you hit measure to hit 0, and then simply put the golf club in there, we just got a measurement of 322.1 grams. The next measurement I'll show you back into the menu again real quick. Weights and measures, I'm going to push select. The overall weight comes up first. Swing weight is the second one. And we just got a reading of D4.84 on this particular driver. We'll go back through the menu again. Weights and measures, we hit select, overall weight comes up, swing weight, club weight, balance point. We get a lot of questions about what's the balance point of your shaft. Well, this is a great way to get the actual number. So for example, this shaft right here has a balance point of 533.4 millimeters. And lastly, overall weight. This arm actually comes out. There's a tray. Unfortunately, I don't have the tray. That slips in here, and it basically has a dish. Screw this back in. Reset. And you would put a head or shaft, a grip, whatever you want, on top of that tray, and it would give you the overall weight of that head, grip, shaft. Okay, the last portion of weights and measures would be measuring the length of the golf club as it relates to the actual lie angle, which is the best way to get the actual length. So for example, I just put this TaylorMade iron in here, got this as flush, as close as I can as far as the lie angle goes, so that we're flush to this with the sole, and then I can get my reading here. And obviously on this side you can see that there's a left-handed version as well.
Thank you for taking your time to view our tutorial. If you have any questions, you can email us at support@matrixshafts.com.